We're speaking to Joseph this morning. Thank you so much, Joseph, for speaking to us on the LITE Breakfast.
Hello.
Now, I know it's not easy for you to share this story, but tell us about your life before you met your ex.
Well, everything was pretty okay. Before I met my ex, I started a new job, so new environment, new people I've met. And yeah, life was just all about that. Getting to learn the job, getting to know the people, try not to screw things up. So...
Okay. Now, when was it that you met your ex and how did you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend. Introduced, met her at a party, and then one thing led to another, got her number, did my work in progress, and yeah, we got together, and that's how we started.
So, but it wasn't, I want to meet her because she's great. Does it start with friendship first, or?
Friendship first. The whole shebang. The friendship first, the texting, the calling, and then occasionally lunch, and then dinners, and from there.
So were you actively on the lookout for a partner in life at that point?
No, actually, I was not. It was just, it came by. I thought, she's a nice person. Okay, let's give it a shot. Nothing to lose.
What was it about her that caught your eye?
She had a very unique personality, and because she's the only child, so her way of thinking was very different. She was very independent. She knew what she wanted to do in life. She was very good at her job, and yeah, so that really caught my eye. And usually I don't go out with women, how do you say this? Usually I don't date a lot, but this one really made me make the effort.
So caught your eye and also caught your heart.
Yes.
Now, how long were you guys together before you actually proposed to her?
A good 5 years.
In total, we were together.
In total, we were together for 7 years. But after the 5 years mark, only I realized, this is time that I propose. But already by then, issues were already arising. We already had issues between us. But I figured that if I were to propose, have something to look forward to, things can change, Perspective can change. We can have something to look forward to and have something in the future that we can work on together and do things together, the planning and stuff. But that's where I made my mistake. Thinking that proposal was the way out of it to solve the issues.
But what were these issues? How big were they?
They weren't big. They build up along the time. Like if people say when you bottle up stuff, eventually you explode. I always hear that story, but when I went through it myself, I realized it's actually very serious. When you don't tell, when you don't voice out your own problems and you just let it drag, it really hit me in the face when it really happened. And in that particular time, I realized that, okay, this is the time I want to propose, that it might fix the problem. But I never fixed the problem. I was always the kind of guy that I don't want to fight. If the woman is going to make an issue for whatever the thing is, I'm just going to close one eye, let it go, let her win. I never want to win a fight, because then we can just move on. Because if I were to fight, this woman can always fight back. She always had something to say. And I hated that. I hated the fact that she always had something to say, something that she can pinpoint and all history that she'll bring back. So I hated that because it's very emotional blackmail. So I had that a lot in a relationship, and I didn't like it, but I never said anything. So that was my mistake, that I never talked about it. So I let it go. Eventually it built up and it exploded one day.
Do you think that if you did fight back now, if you thought back, that you could have fixed things?
Maybe I would have changed her perception on it. Maybe she would have changed her ways. I know you say you shouldn't change a person, but sometimes you gotta meet in between. You gotta meet in the middle. But I didn't do that. I just let it go all the time.
Okay, so you proposed and she accepted?
Yes.
And wedding preparations were actually underway, weren't they?
We went as far as getting the place. We went as far as spending 20,000. We got her dress. We got her rings. We were about to do my suit. We didn't get to that point. We did the cards, but we never sent it out.
How close are we talking about here to the actual date?
6 months before the actual date. That's when I realized that, this is not the reason I should be getting married. I cannot be seeing the next 50 years and have all this stuck behind that we can't even solve. And it gets even worse because I felt that she was the kind of character that she, not to say cannot lose, but she's very street smart. So at some point, because she's very close to my family, she's very close to my friends, and for some reason, all of these people will cite her. And when time comes, when people talk to me, I mean, they say things about me, you know how friends can be, they can kutuk you and things like that. I will never have her backing. She'll always be on that side. And she also says stuff about me when I'm sitting right there with my friends. So it's like, which side are you on? I mean, I know we're all friends, we're all joking, but to a certain point, if you don't take care of my feelings, what are we actually doing here?
But I never said anything.
Maybe you should have broken up with your friends instead.
But that's the thing, we're all so connected, and I know my friends for so long before I know her, but how do you choose that?
At what point during the wedding preparation you figured out that this is not going the way that I want it to go? Maybe we should just call it off.
It was the point when a lot of the plans for the wedding was what she wanted. It was not what I wanted. But I always know that when it comes to wedding, it's always something that, mostly the women will want to have it their way, which I understand, which is great. But when you don't even want to consider any part of my intake in it, that says something right there. And I tried putting my inputs. Why did we do this? Why not we not have that and have this instead? Because money is a big issue. But to her, it's like, I'm only getting married once. Let's just spend the money. But in my mind, like, how do you spend 10 grand on a photographer when I don't even like taking photos myself? So it's things like that I couldn't see in between. I couldn't come to meet with her.
Okay. And what was her reaction when you decided to call off the wedding?
She was very shocked. She went into a lot of panic attacks. So there was a lot of visits to the hospital. Friends got involved. I had to be there. So then it came to a point the doctors had to pull me aside and ask me what's going on, what is the backstory. So I had to sit down and talk to the doctor, and it's like 3-4 in the morning. So there was a lot of that. At the same time, because I didn't want to tell my parents because they will freak out. So it was a lot of just me being alone in all of this. I couldn't tell my friends because I know what they're going to say. And the fact that this woman is always good with them, they're good friends. And I know they're going to cite her, so they're going to definitely shoot me down. So I couldn't tell them. So a lot of this journey I was actually doing it alone, which I think was one of my mistakes also, because I should have voiced out. At least, someone would have told me some stuff to calm me down and things like that.
Yeah, you need support too, right?
But that's the thing, I didn't say anything.
Okay, but did you have time to sort of grieve this broken relationship and accept it?
It's been almost 3 years. I feel I have let go. I know she has moved on, but I think because of what I went through, it makes it a little bit difficult to meet the next one. There's always this doubt, what if it comes back? I only figure all this out after 4 years of dating. What if it happens again? What am I going to spend the next 4 years worrying about it? Does that make the relationship genuine if it does happen? But life is short. Do we take that chance or not? So it's always that fear.
How do you know she moved on though? Do you guys still keep in touch?
Like I said, we're all good friends, and because of they all still talk to her, we're still in the same WhatsApp groups, we're still occasionally texting, so I get my updates from all my friends. So that's how I know where she is right now, who she's with, what's happening.
But you don't text her directly?
Now it's okay, it's not so bad, it's very in and out, because I know her family, she knows mine, so occasionally we do talk about family, but that's it. I don't make it more than that.
Okay. But I'm sure you're, in a way, relieved that you didn't go ahead with the wedding anyways, with all these things bugging you about the relationship.
In a way, it's true, because I think if that happens, if I were to be married with all that, I would have found a way out. I would have either be divorced, or I would have cheated, or I'd have done something that would not be right. But if I actually felt, if I was talking to people and voicing out my concerns to her and things like that, things would have been different.
I didn't.
Okay. I was just thinking, is there no way to resolve this, or to fix it, sort of? Did you not think of a way to fix it?
I tried a lot of ways, but because she always had something to say. She always had a reason to fire me back. And because of that, it comes to a point, I don't want to say anything because I know I cannot win this fight, even if I try. And it makes it even worse because at the end of the day, I felt that I'm the male in this relationship, To a certain degree, I need to have that respect. But I don't. Even the fact that she's 2 years older than me, but I didn't get that respect at all. And I think maybe she took it for granted that I was okay with a lot of things, but I wasn't. So that actually caused a lot of fights. It caused a lot of misunderstandings.
And after the breakup, and after her panic attacks, and after she was okay with it, did any of your friends come up to you and ask you what really happened? Why didn't you come and talk to us about this?
Everybody started to ask what was going on. Everybody started to ask why did she do this? Why not tell us? Why not get us involved? But at the end of the day, I didn't want to get anybody involved, and they only started to find out like a month or two later, because I think she also didn't want to say anything, because I guess for her it's a big step. I'm the only child, I'm a lady, I'm getting married, but my man calls it off. Does that make me less of a woman? I think she felt that way. And it's the whole, you need to be married by a certain age. I think she felt that way, so she didn't want to tell people. She was a bit shy or ashamed of it, and I knew all this. But at the end of the day, I also have to feel that I cannot be just getting married just because we set everything in plan already. If things are not right, might as well we call it quits now and work on it getting better, rather than being married and then file for divorce later on.
Okay, but I guess I'm just thinking you probably could have come to this realization before you actually proposed to her.
I wish I had, but I guess being caught up with a lot of things, knowing in my mind that I couldn't win the fights, I didn't want to do anything about it. I just dragged it on and just let it be.
Okay. But being with her for the 4 years that you did, I'm sure there were real emotions involved. Have you addressed those emotions? Like, do you still feel hurt? I'm sure you loved her, I'm sure.
I did.
Have you addressed the hurt that this breakup has caused?
Rephrase that question.
Do you still hurt? Have you forgiven her?
Yeah. I mean, I don't hold anything against her, because as the years went by, I realized it's not her that caused this to break. It's the fact that I didn't move forward with it. I didn't want to step up. Safe to say, I didn't want to be the man and face this and fix it. I didn't want to do that. But when I think about it, and when I want to make a step into it, I think about all the things that she used to say, all the things that she used to do, all the respect I never got. And it just throws me back, like, you know what? Let's not do anything. You know what? This is just a waste of time. I know what's going to happen anyway. So I never took that chance to fix it. So I just let it drag.
So basically you're saying both of you were at fault in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's moved on. Have you?
I've let the relationship go, but being with someone else, no. A bit too
Still
scared.
scared.
Wait, when you
Too
say
scared.
being with someone else seriously, but have you tried the dating game? Have you been out there?
Honestly, I haven't been looking. I don't want to be looking, because it's like, I feel like, to lead someone on is to do the whole chasing game again, and I didn't want to go through that. Plus, I know I switched to a new company and I wanted to focus on that, making sure that all goes well.
Okay.
But marriage is still in your books, right? You still want to get married eventually.
I still want to get married. I still want to have a family. When is a good question.
When you find the right woman. Now, sometimes some of the most difficult things to do, especially when something like this happens, is to explain it to friends and family. Have you done that?
It took me about a good 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 years.
Because I like to keep things to myself. I don't like telling people my life. I don't like posting up on social media, hey, what I'm eating today, where am I? I don't do all that. But so because of my character, I didn't want to share all this, because I feel people have their own problems to deal with. They don't need to hear mine and worry about me. But I guess that's where I made a mistake, because thinking that I'm the only one in this world.
And what did they say?
They were very supportive. That they thought I made the right decision the fact that explaining to them what I told you guys, and they realized that you made the right move. Yeah, you could have made it worse, moving on with the marriage, spending all that money, and then fixing this problem later on, which you might not even be able to fix because you've gone too deep into it, and God knows what kind of fights you're gonna have.
Did you lose any of those friends? Because you said your friends would usually side with her. Did you lose any of those friends?
I did not, but it gets connected. So wherever I am, she will find out. There's no way to say we can run from it. Whatever she does, somehow I'll find out. So the problem comes when it comes to house parties, when it comes to weddings. She's gonna be invited, I'm gonna be invited. What do we do? So there's a lot of times when I have to pull out. I don't want to cause a scene. I don't want to do all that. So you know what? You call that woman. You go out with her. I'll be at home. Just send me the photos.
Wow, so you refer to her as that woman.
Well.
Okay.
How about your parents? You say your families are connected as well. What did your mom and dad say about this?
They were very upset. I had to tell my dad first, and it was the hardest thing for me to do, because for me to even tell my dad about relationship and things like that it's not something I'm very familiar with. But I had to tell him before I even make any decisions. So I called him one day after work. I said hey Dad, let's go and have dinner. And he said okay. So the minute I said that, he knew something was wrong. So we had dinner, and I told him A to Z about it. And he only had one thing to say. He's like, are you sure? And I said, I'm sure. I said, I want to call it off, and I'm really sure. And he told me that, okay, don't have to do anything. Don't have to worry about the family. I will handle the family. Because we had a lot of families coming down from overseas, and even on her side, a lot of families were coming on. So all tickets were bought. Everything was already purchased. But the fact that, if I don't make this move now, it's going to get worse. So I made the call. And after that, in the next few months, my parents never questioned. My family never questioned, because I think they all knew. And they didn't want to say anything, because I think my dad told them don't say anything. They gave me my space. But interesting part, when the wedding day, wedding day, supposed to be, I happened to meet my cousins because they came down, and I have to see them. And at the same place we were at, her side of the family was there. She was there.
Complicated.
And then what?
Very interesting day.
I couldn't meet them. I didn't know how to face them, because I know the family, and I didn't know how to tell them, hey, I'm not marrying this girl, but here I am at a party. So that was a very, very awkward day. And my cousins were there, and they came all the way down from far, far away. So it was a very interesting day, that one.
This is the thing with Asian weddings. It involves a lot of people. Families are involved, friends are involved, and it can get quite complicated, I think. But I'm sure you did not regret making that decision. Do you? Do you regret making that decision?
I don't, but I wish I knew how to talk to people, because that would have changed a lot of things. It might have changed maybe me still being married to her, but I didn't do that. I didn't take that chance, so maybe.
I don't think you need to change how you talk to people. It's more of not every person can match. You probably weren't a match. If you can find someone who matches you, who matches your personality, then it would be easy for you. Yeah.
Now, the next person that comes along, I'm pretty sure that you're going to make sure that this person is not as connected to your family as the last one, right?
Well, I thought about that. Maybe not at the start. Give it time. Let it all sink
because
in
it's
first.
complex.
Make sure that I really know her and this is the one I want to be in, then only bring to the family. Because the minute the family is involved, and if they take a liking to her, very hard to cut ties. They all be connected somehow.
Just like how you can't cut ties with your ex even until now, right?
Exactly.
4 years on, 3 years on. But do you think life has changed for you after that incident?
It has actually. It has taught me that to see things in a different way. So when people come and tell me almost similar problems, I actually know what to say. I actually know what to tell them. Hey, don't do that. Why? Because I've been through it. I've seen what he can do. I've done it before. So try a different way. Try talking to people that you know about. Go to a psychiatrist if you have to. Don't have to tell anybody about it. It's just spend that money and spend an hour with them. You never know what you might hear.
On that, do you think that talking to someone, do you think things would have worked out if you had gone to see a marriage counselor even before you guys got married?
It would have. It would have probably changed the way I thought about things, but it would have been a very long shot, because for me, it's when I set my mind, Very hard to change it.
Okay. So now that you've gone through it, what advice would you give to someone who is currently going through something similar?
That no matter how much of problems you have with someone, always talk to someone about it. Someone always have a different point of view. Someone always have an experience that you can take off and learn from it. So you're not in this alone. Talk to people. Talk to your family. Talk to your closest friend. They can help. They may not be able to help you physically, but they can help you mentally. And that can really change a lot of things. You can change the way you think. You can change the next step you're about to make. And I think that is a big thing to learn.
Does your family pressure you to maybe you should just get married now to someone? Do they do that to you?
They don't, which is, I thank God for that. No pressure there. But occasionally they always sleep in, like my dad will ask me like, hey son, how that girl? Okay.
Has anyone tried to matchmake you yet?
Oh yeah, he has. My neighbor next door. So it comes to that point. But so thank God my brother got married first, so a lot of eyes on him now. Like, all right, keep it that way.
So what's the right person for you? If you could generalize it, a few boxes to tick, what would you be looking for now? Less drama?
I guess someone that knows how to show respect. I didn't have that. I realized after being together for about 6 years, I didn't have that. So to me, I think the most important thing for me is to have that, to know that if you can show me respect, I can do the same. But if I cannot get that from you, then it's a bit difficult to move on.
Okay, so everything else is fine. If they're formally married, if they're divorced, they have kids and everything, you're okay with that?
Tricky, but can consider. Not as bad.